So, tonight we Hairy Gamers have been playing 3 games from Alcyon Creative. We played Troy, Deus, Ex Machina the card game, and Argonauts the card game. What did we think? Let's go! Oh boy, we've played a lot of card games tonight. We're going to start off with Troy. Troy, alright, stands out as our favourite tonight, and I'm going to tell you why. It is a 2-player game. Bear in mind, everything that we talk about tonight, we've got preview copies for. So, in Troy, you have got the Battle of Troy going on in front of you. One team is going to be the Greeks, one team is going to be the Trojans. And as you are playing this game, you are going to be pitting one of your heroes at random against the other team's hero. So, for example, in our first fight, we have Ajax versus Hector. And it just goes off. And it starts off with them bringing a little skirmish. So you have like some chariots and you got some archers and all that kind of stuff. And you place those out secretly in front of you. And then you place the heroes bolstering behind them. So, for example, I'm going to put a 3 on this one, a 3 on the second one, and a 1 on the last one, for example. And that means that when I flip those cards over later, Dave's going to be hit by all of these attacks. So the game is going to give you 4 rounds to do this little battle. And in one of the rounds, the Greeks are going to come out with a very strong advantage. And in one of the rounds, the Trojans are going to come out with a very strong advantage. And the way that the game flows is quite simple, quite quick to go. It is probably, we played in 30 minutes, Dave. But it just is so gripping and tense all the way through this game. So we've laid out our armies. We've got the numbers behind them of the heroes like bolstering. We flip over and we see who's come out on top. First game, I came out with a 2-1 lead against Dave. I was very happy with myself. That was leading me towards getting some good points. But then the crowds part and your 2 heroes fight each other in front of the wounded soldiers. And at that point, you can bring in a card from your hero reinforcements, which go from very poor to very strong. And you can bring in the favour of the gods as well, which goes from very poor to very strong. And so you're going to be playing these 2 secret cards again. And finally, you flip over, you see what the flow of the battle is, and the person with the highest number at the end comes out either the victor. Well, the person with the highest number comes out the victor. That makes more sense. And then once you've done all that, you figure out what the lead is. So in the first battles, I came out with a 2-1 lead, and then Dave brought Hector against my Ajax and beat me, which was very frustrating. So it all ended in a draw. Oh boy. As the battle went on, I think my favourite part was we had Achilles, who is an absolute tank in this game, and Paris, who was a bit of a pansy in history and in the game as well. And so we had our battle and it was going well, and we came out as a full-on draw. And then as we kind of like laid out our kind of god powers, we were thinking, now Achilles hits really hard. Do I use my big powers now to really secure that lead? Although saying that, let's see, each of the heroes is going to get different amounts of points based on the opposite hero. So, for example, this is the only one I can't pronounce. Penthesilea is really, really like strong compared to Menelaus, so he only gets 1 point, but is weak compared to Achilles. So why did I choose this one? Penthesilea beats Achilles, then they're going to get 3 points. And at that point, we thought, wait a second, if Paris took down Achilles in this fight, Dave's going to come out with 3 points, whereas I'd only come out with 1 because Paris is is puny. And thankfully, I managed to hold him off and came out with a point on that one. We just love this game. And the people sat around watching, it was a 2-player game, were fully gripped in this as well. I'm going to let Dave tell you a bit more because I know I've talked a lot and we've got a lot of things to talk about today.
Hi, Dave the Grey. This game is absolutely immense. Let me just start cut straight to the chase. This, if I want a 2-player game that plays in half an hour, this is it. If I want to play a 2-player game that plays in about 5 hours, it'd be Star Wars Rebellion every time. This, 30 minutes, it was absolutely immense. The bit I love about it is you start with effectively the same cards. They have different characters on them, Trojans, Greeks, but everybody gets the same points across their cards, so it is entirely symmetrical. It's purely down to what cards you play and when, so it's all about getting inside the other person's head. And as James said, I was stuck with Paris, and it's like, right, do I throw this battle and just use my weak cards, knowing that that's keeping my strong cards back for a game that I might actually win? Or if James is going to go, well, I'm only playing Paris, I'll try and use up my weak cards now because it's Paris, I can beat him easily. And I went in with my biggest support cards, sneak a victory. That'd be loads of points, so it's all up here. Really, really psychological drama. It was absolutely awesome. And I snuck the victory in the last battle, so go me! Not that I'm competitive or was excited at all. The cards also, for the most part, look fantastic. So Aeneas, look at him. That is some beautiful artwork there. And then these numbers here are the support cards that you get to bring out. So every skirmish, it's the same cards. So you've got a 5, a 4, a 3, and a 2. They go out, but it's where you place them. You then get your support cards depending on how powerful your hero is. So if you want to go for the big hitters, Amazon's supported by a 3. They're quite powerful. I'll put the +3 with my archers, who are rubbish, and try and sneak a victory with the archers. Which way are you going to go? All in on one side, or try and get a nice even playing field? You also get a 1 use only support card for each of your warrior cards. So if you want your Dardanians to be supported, and because you're going to put all of your good stuff in there, you get to use that just once. And obviously, once you've used it, James now knows that those guys aren't going to get support next time. So, yeah. For the whole gods thing, again, that's 1 use only. Some of them are really good. Some of them are really rubbish. It's all down to when you choose to play your trump cards. My only downside to that is I don't think the god art, and again, these are just prototypes, so they might change. And I hope they do, to be honest, because the art style for those, the gods just don't seem to fit in. They're very white Anglo-Saxon Protestant gods.
It's the whitest, blondest god.
It's all very, to be fair, Clash of the Titans did have the most sort of white, blonde 12 gods of the Olympiad ever. But yeah, doesn't look particularly Greek. Whereas Hector, look at that bad lad. Yeah.
He's a bruiser.
Oh. So no, this game, as I say, if I want to play a quick 2-player game, and I'll be honest, I can play another game of this right now. It's 2-player, half an hour. Crack on, lads. That is an absolute humdinger of a game. Get stuck in, because that is going straight on my shelf, and that is an absolute keeper. 2 thumbs up for me.
Welcome to part 2 of the review. Okay, here we go. This is the Argonauts card game. Now, this is based on a board game which I've not played, but the art style is significantly different from the Troy. Now, the Argonauts follows the story of Jason. Look at him, he's so dashing.
Isn't he?
He's looking into the distance where his golden fleece waits for him. What's he going to do with it? He's going to chuck it on his throne and get knocked out by a boat. So this is a cooperative game, and we had 4 of us playing around the table. You always have to use all 4 teams in this game. Now, Jason's got an A up here. There's some which have got B's, some which have got C's, some which have got D's. They're separated into these 4 different teams, and each of them have got different stats. So Jason, he's pretty good at handshaking. I mean, diplomacy, fighting, sailing, and sneaking. It's also got a special ability. And so you are going to be using one person from each team to overcome challenges. For example, the Wrath of the Gods. Look at him go. So in this case, you need to exhaust mystics. Maybe you'll come up against Cetus. In this case, you've got a choice of fighting with might or cunning. And so in this case, you need to take 8 might or 5 sailing skills. Or if you want to go by cunning, you're going to use these numbers here, with the different symbols there. If you get defeated, then you're going to lose one of your crew members, which is something that is a shared resource on your ship. If you ever lose all 4 crew members, or 4 damage on your boat, or 4 of your food, then you die. It's a pretty brutal game. So you're going to be trying to overcome these challenges, and each person around the table, or if there's just you choose one person from each of your 4 teams. And once 4 people have been put forward, you count up the totals, and either you pass it or you don't pass it. And every single team's always going to have a person who is exhausted. So, for example, on Jason's team, let's say that let's say Argos is tired out. And Jason wanted to do some stuff, so Jason does his thing, he uses his skills, and now Argos is not tired out. You always have 3 people who are available on each of your teams, which is a really nice kind of ebb and flow to the game, because you're always trying to manage who's awake and who's asleep. But my favourite thing about this game, and I'm going to let the others share their opinions as well, is it follows the story of the Argonauts, the Argonauts, and all that business. So they're going to meet the Harpies. They're going to fight the Simple Gades. They're going to go to. I'm reading through a mirror, everybody. They're going to go to Colchis. There's some dragon's teeth. Oh, there's the dragon itself. And so you're always going to do the same thing in the same order, but that is peppered with these random events as well. So you're always going to have an idea of what's coming up, but you don't know what's going to come along the way as well. So I really like the way that it's educational, and you learn the story of Jason and the weird things that he got up to.
Hi, Dave the Grey. Jason and the Argonauts. Tonight, it's strange how you go through life not really knowing people, and then you find out that Ange has never watched Jason and the Argonauts. Astounded. I clearly spent my Sunday afternoons watching far too much TV, because Jason and the Argonauts is a quality film. Obviously, Harryhausen version. And this goes through all of the key points of Jason and the Argonauts. So, as James says, you get the Harpies, you get the Clashing Rocks, which is kind of cool. Don't get a dove, but that's just me going, what about my dove? I want my dove. You get the Talos, who's awesome. So yeah, very educational for everybody, up to kids up to Ange. And his homework for next week is to watch Jason and the Argonauts. Astounded that he hasn't seen it before. So yeah, it's a really, I'd say this is a really nice game. It's cooperative, which we don't play that many cooperative games. It's normally me stabbing people in the back, to be blunt, which I enjoy. But this was fun. Wasn't particularly difficult. We kind of played with easy mode, so we had like one cheat to get us through to the end.
The favour of the gods.
The favour of the gods basically let us keep one thing that we should have otherwise lost, and we just snuck it at the end. But really nice game. Doesn't overstay its welcome. I think it was about 20 minutes. And it was nice being able to work together to sort of manage our crew of Argonauts, which very thematic. Got to love it. So yeah, right, we need some of this to beat this threat. right, you can use this, I can use, I've got a sailor, I can do. It was really nice to work as a team to overcome the odds. So yeah, solid. Not as good as Troy, because Troy was exceptional, but a nice solid 20-minute filler. Ange will talk about the artwork, no doubt, but the artwork is also really nice, thematic, looks really cool. So yeah, if you want just a nice, easy, cooperative filler, you'd do worse than this.
Dan here. It was alright. I enjoyed it. I like cooperative games. We don't get, like Dave said, don't get to play many. One of my favourite parts, when you flip one over, you get to flip it back over when you use another one. So that you don't have to expel them all in one go before you flip them all back over. I enjoyed it.
Right. Yes! Hello, it is I, Ange, the bearded lady. A co-op that is a pure co-op. It's nice to play a game where you are all working together as a team, and there isn't any kind of like, you've got to work together as a team, but at some point you're going to stab someone in the back. It's nice to actually play a game that's like a pure co-op, and this is it. It was great, as the guys said, to track through the story. I had no clue about the story because I've never seen the thing before.
So it ain't so.
Yep.
Dave was there.
So the artwork, it's me, innit? I like to talk about the artwork, and so this is the second game that we're reviewing, and the artwork gets better. So the artwork for this game, I think, is better than Troy. You've got some really nice imagery going on the cards, fantastic, and then your teammates. You've got some great pictures going on there. I had Argos. Look at him. Actually, Dave, he looks a lot like you.
Dave's Argos.
Haggard, old. I was obviously Jason. Look at the resemblance. But yes, so nice stuff. Yeah, again, this thing of we're all kind of like, oh, I can offer this, and the fact that everybody has to be involved to be able to get through. Brilliant, really, really nice. And yeah, a game that doesn't take long, doesn't outstay its welcome on the table. Sometimes co-op games can take a long time to play. This one plays through quick enough for it to be fun. And there is also that option of the Favour of the Gods. You can add in 2 Favour of the Gods if you want, if you're struggling to get past. But we did pretty well. And we got there with some favour, but we only had, I think we were on the last 2 cards when we had to use that. I'm not sure about the replayability on it. I'm not sure on how much replayability there is, unless you can add in additional kind of like events that maybe make it a little bit harder, a little bit tougher. When you're playing a co-op game, you actually want it to be damn hard to be able to try and get past it so that you are actually all working together. It felt like we did this pretty easily. So that would be one thing to look out for. This, after all, is a prototype, but it would be great to see it get a little bit tougher you sort of like for replay purposes. But apart from all of those negatives there, a general positive.
So, if you've made it to this point in the video, well done! You've made it to Deus Ex Machina, the god from the machine. So there we go, there's Zeus. He's overseeing, I think that might be Theseus fighting a chimera. It's epic on the box. Now this is a free-for-all. It is purely competitive, and it is really simple. Now, honestly, my biggest thing against this, and this is preview game, but the rule book is 4 pages long, and then you get to the very last lines in the rule book, and it's like, oh, and by the way, there's this really important stuff that you should know, which we didn't really make clear earlier on, and we're like, that's where the crux of the game is. So, the game, you're going to be having one of these 4 characters. We've got Jason, we've got Hercules, we've got Theseus, we've got Perseus. Each of them is favoured by a god: Hera, Zeus, Athena, Hermes. And each one of them has 2 stats. So we've got might, and we've got cunning. Whereas I'm just going to set you up. Dave's going to tell you all about Heracles and how he's a very important person. But you're going to be taking one of these guys. Each time you fight, you're going to be trying to overcome a challenge. So you're going to have 3 of these laid out. So, for example, there's the Centaurs, there's Talos, and you are going to be trying to match up to the things on the top. So you've got to do both of them in this case. So that is 4 might, 4 cunning. You're going to get points at the end. You're going to get symbols. The only way you're going to be able to do this is with the help of comrades. These are going to be available for everyone to use. So you're going to have 2 of them at a time, you can see. So, for example, there's a couple of the guys. Let's see, this is Canis. Now, Canis, he gives you 3 might. He gets a bonus against the red ones, which is good. And he is favoured by Zeus. So, if your character is favoured by Zeus, then you will get a bonus for bringing Canis with you. If you are fighting against something that is red with Canis, you will get a bonus with Canis as well. And so the game is all about trying to match up those bonuses and trying to match up the team-ups to be able to overcome the obstacles in the best way. How does the game end? Let me tell you. Each person's going to have one of these. There are 4 of them. They're all random, but you're going to have 4 symbols you're trying to collect. Those 4 symbols, once you've got that and the target score, so for example, for 2 players it's 19, for 4 players it's 14. Once you've got all 4 symbols, you've got the 14 points that you need, you can win the game. And there's one other thing that's available to you as well. And the god powers are also available. So the gods give you sometimes a special ability. Sometimes, for example, if you take Hera, Hera will boost all of the Hera-loving characters, and so on and so forth. These are always available to you as a one-time use. Once you've used them, you take it into your area. It is worth -1 point. Right, this game, when you play it, is quick, it's simple, it's easy going. Dave's going to tell you it is completely down to luck, but this is a game of skill. And how do I know? Because I bossed it. I played immensely intelligently. I got all of the things. I used my god powers. I took advantage of the different situations to get the most points, and I came out with the crown of being the best hero. There's one last thing that I forgot to tell you as well, is when you use your hero, you flip them over and they get tired. You can still use them and they will flip back, but it means that you've got a bit of an ebb and flow to the game. Whether I like that or not, I'm not going to say really, because I used it to my best of my abilities, but that didn't go down so well with the rest of the group.
So, Dan here. With this game, I didn't really enjoy it that much. It felt a little bit too easy. There was no strategy behind it. It was all luck. I'm not a big fan of luck games either. Same as rolling dice games. I'm not very good at them.
That's okay.
So, with what James said about the character cards, so you flip them on the end. For me, I don't like it if you pass, you can flip it, which I think makes sense. If you use it, you can still flip it, which I don't think makes sense. And that, for me, was a little bit of a negative thing. But it's a quick game. Yeah.
Hi, Dave the Grey. So, Deus Ex Machina. It was okay, I think, is the sum of it. Like Dan said, I think the flipping thing is quite a clever mechanic if you need to pass to get the strong hero back. James lucked out, and it was luck. When James's hero was in his weakened state, he happened to have a really weak monster to fight against. So he could, with the gods and the other bits and pieces, that he managed to again get lucky by having an assistant who was coupled with the god on his card, was coupled with the monster so he got bonuses. Whereas me and Dan, when our hero was weakened, and I think Ange as well at one point, the cards that we got didn't match up, so we didn't get any bonuses, so we had to pass a turn. And amazingly, if you lose a turn, the one person that didn't lose a turn wins. Who would think it? Although I would like to point out, if you go back to the start, the actual strategy tactical game. Who won?
Oh, Dave.
What can I say?
Ow.
However, what I would say is, in all fairness, I don't think that us bearded gentlemen are the target demographic for this game. It's very simple, and it's quick, and I would say this is a great game for, I think it says on the box 7+, which is probably spot on for sort of younger teenagers, that sort of age, who are just getting into playing games. This is probably perfect for. So it's a nice, simple game teaching the mechanics of, building up points to beat different things and coupling sort of symbols together. It's probably great for that, and it's quite educational. Apart from the fact that it's got Hercules rather than Heracles in, bit of a minor bugbear. Prototype, get it fixed, lads. But I think for the target demographic, this is probably a great game. A 20-minute game, nice and easy, gets people playing games, which is what we're all about. I think probably target demographic is kids, families that don't really play many games. Not really one that I'd be dying to get back into. Whereas Troy, I'm all over that like bad soup. So yeah, very much okay.
Last thing for me to say of Bearded Lady, the artwork on this game, I think, is the best out of the 3 games. You've got full colour going all the way. You've got all the card. There's no framing or anything like that. You've got the scene going all the way to the edge, like it. The artwork looks absolutely brilliant. Nice bold colours on the cards. Ooh, yeah, look at that. Boom. Excellente. Check out Zeus. He looks mighty angry. And then also the creatures or the scenarios you're trying to beat, also absolutely so cool. Really, really nice artwork going on throughout these. So yeah, awesome artwork. I think for me, this game, the artwork wins. It's so good, so good. The game itself, as already said, great gateway, great for younger players. But the artwork, if it was this artwork, the Troy game, and even this artwork throughout, amazing.